professional sectors.
Education stakeholders have called for a deliberate shift in parenting and mentorship, saying the growing focus on empowering the girl child should not come at the expense of boys. The leaders, speaking during a men's parenting conclave in Nairobi, challenged fathers to play a more active role in raising responsible young men. Aaron Marie with the details.
As Kenya continues to celebrate milestone in girls' education and women's empowerment, education experts are warning that many boys are being left behind, from declining academic performance and behavioral challenges to lack of mentorship and positive role models.
It is a true challenge even in the educational sector, whereby our boys are holding back, but we need them to rise up and take up their position once again.
Stakeholders says the country must now pay equal attention to raising responsible boys capable of thriving in a rapidly changing society.
Being present for a child, for a boy child, is very important, but not just being present and involving. Tell them it's normal to cry when things are wrong. Release yourself. You know, why do you tell a person that, you know, it's not African to cry? It's not.
Speaking during a men's parenting conclave organized by the Rofin group of schools, stakeholders highlighted the need to empower boys to grow equally.
In this forum here, we have the parents, we have outsiders, we have others online, and all of them are concentrating on what are the issues that the boy child needs to do to be able to embrace an empowered girl. Every school needs to have these conversations. Every village needs to have these conversations, because remember, in the olden days, before this modernity, the community had responsibilities for their children.
The organizer says the parenting forum was prompted by growing concern over the challenges facing many boys in schools today.
And so where does that leave the boy child in this home setup, where as parents we are not intentionally showing both our children that they have to take up responsibilities of leadership just at the start in our homestands.
They say empowering the boy child is not about reversing the gains made by girls, but ensuring both boys and girls are equipped to build stronger families and more balanced society.
There are things that I may not know as a mother. Yes, I've learned them. Yes, I'm leading other men in institutions, but in the family setup, that will not happen, because the men need to take up the leading role and show the boy child.
Religious leaders in Garissa County have been trained on mediation processes in preparation to solve conflicts ahead of next year's general election. The training aims to strengthen and capacity build local mediators. Speaking during a press briefing after the two-day exercise, Supreme Council of Kenya Muslim Secretary General, that is Sheikh Abdullah Salat, urged the citizens to reject divisive politics that may endanger peace and order of the country. Sheikh Mohammed expressed concern over the mobilization of goons to disrupt political events and the rising political intolerance in the country, warning that it could be a recipe for chaos.
Mediation kwa wakati huu katika nchi yetu ya Kenya ni jambo ambalo ni muhimu sana, hasa tukijua ya kwamba tunaelekea msimu au season ya uchaguzi ambayo Wakenya wengi wanaona iko na hali ya joto.
Tunashukuru sana kwa sababu ya kuletwa pamoja ili tukapokee hii mafundisho ili kujiandaa kabla uchaguzi haujafika, maana tumeona hii Garissa yetu inahitaji sisi kama viongozi wa dini kuweza kuongea pamoja na kuweza kushauriana ili tukaweze nchi yetu kaweze kuwa na amani. Kenya iko na symbol ya peace, love and unity.
Healthcare services in Nandi County are set to face disruption after clinical officers issued a strike notice over unresolved labor grievances. The union says the county government has failed to honor commitments contained in the agreement despite months of engagement and negotiations. Danton Indande brings us this and other stories in the County News Roundup.
Solidarity forever.
Speaking in Kapsabet while issuing the strike notice, union officials said they have exhausted all available avenues for dialogue and warned that public health care across the county could be severely affected.
Nandi chapter also, we also have our serious concerns, right from the CBA implementation, which is the bone of contention here. The CBA, which was signed in February 2026, to date it has never been implemented. Same also for the career progression guidelines for the clinical officers, which were approved in May 2024, which are yet also to be implemented.
And the government has unveiled the revised Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Policy 2026, aimed at accelerating business growth, expanding access to finance and creating more jobs.
This discussion have emphasized the importance of bridging the gap between policy development and policy implementation. Good policies not only achieve their intended impact when entrepreneurs understand them.
And more than 8 in every 10 Kenyans are unable to access justice across the country's courts. According to the Court of Appeal, Judge Justice Professor Joel Ngugi has said only 17% of Kenyans access justice through the formal court system, leaving the majority to seek other avenues for resolving disputes. He spoke during the graduation of a new cohort of certified professional mediators in Mombasa.
Justice is the most important human right because if you do not have access to justice, all the other human rights are chimera. All the other human rights are useless. All the other human rights mean nothing.
Elsewhere, a charitable organization has initiated a walk of over 200 kilometers from Nakuru to Narok to sensitize Kenyans on importance of education and also to raise funds to enable needy children to access education.
Our purpose and the goal is to send children to school, to give them a home, good health, and to make sure that they have a better future and fight poverty.
Meanwhile, Mungala Secondary School in Machakos County has received a major boost after the official launch of a modern dining hall in the school, courtesy of a constituency development fund.
Hawa wakakuja wakaniambia wanataka sebuleni, inaitwa sebuleni ama DH, dining hall. Na mimi kwa sababu napenda kuongea ukweli na napenda kufanya kazi kama kazi, mimi nikasema nitawajengea dining hall vile waliitisha.
Separately, transport stakeholders have called on drivers across the country to exercise caution and be mindful of other road users to help in curbing cases of fatality on the road.
Kila mtu ni driver, haijalishi wewe unaendesha mkubwa ama unaendesha mdogo, lakini wewe ni driver. Uwe wewe ni mama ama wewe ni baba. Sisi wote tunatakiwa tupeane heshima kwa barabara.
Environmentalists are exploring investment opportunities in the national environment that can drive sustainable development and secure a better future. Subsequently, environmental stakeholders have convened a workshop to cement and implement the proposal. Speaking in Roselle House in Karen during the Association of Members of Episcopal Conference in Eastern Africa Forum, the director of Laudato Si Movement Africa, Ashley Katisia, noted that the forum provides an opportunity for meaningful dialogue, knowledge sharing and collaboration to explore practical ways to promote sustainable development and create lasting opportunities for future generations.
We are advocating to ensure that renewable energy is made really affordable for the people and also reliable, because energy is not just a service, it's an enabler of other sectors. And we are pushing and working with other faith-based organizations to ensure that if energy is made affordable, then it can be able to support other climate change sectors, especially ensuring there is productive use of energy to address climate adaptation, climate resilience.
We are called to take care of the creation which God gave us as a gift. So we are to speak out for the poor people and for all the creation to say that this Mother Earth is ours, all of us. Ours meaning not only people, human beings, but also the creation.
Stakeholders are calling for bold reforms to reduce business informality and unlock the potential of micro, small and medium enterprises in Kenya. Speaking during a high-level policy roundtable in Kisumu comprising policymakers, members of parliament and business leaders to address why most businesses remain in the informal sector, the executive director for Suvira Africa, Charles Nyakumbo, called for greater investment and policies to bridge this gap. The participants called for a policy shift to encourage growth. Kenya's micro, small and medium enterprises make up to 90% of all businesses and employ roughly 15 million Kenyans.
Sad that vast majority of these important stakeholders are not registered. So when they are not registered, both the government is losing revenue and also the businesses themselves, they are losing revenue or money from bribery. They have to pay fines. They have to get their goods confiscated. So it is a paradox that in as much as it is important for formalization to be put together, and of course most of this register, majority of them are still not formalized. So
one of the ways I want to believe that the county government can come up and help is, one, by training the enforcement officers and showing them how to handle the traders, because these are the clients that give revenue to the county government.
Well, on that note, let's take our first commercial break. I'll be back with more news.
This is remarkable. Chance of a break here. Where are the defenders? Rashford with a chance here to wrap things up, you would think, for England, but a good save. Danger is still there. Saka's effort blocked on the line. Saka again! A lovely turn from Eze. Nice sweep through ball as well, and what a finish from Saka for number 4. Saka scores, completes his hat-trick.
Dial *977# or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, nuru ya Kenya.
Majina naitwa Daisy Achieng. So far World Cup imekuwa poa because we've been seeing venye like my teams zimekuwa venye wamekuwa wakingangana hadi wafike to the finals. For me na support Spain because of Yamal actually, like ana inspire the young boys. Because he's only 18 years old na like tumona the nini amekuwa create to these people, to the young boys actually. So you guys, you can tune in KBC channel 1, place mneza pata the all nini ya World Cup.
Welcome back to the Lunchtime News. We continue where operations at the Kenya Nutritionist and Dietitians Institute, KNDI, remain in limbo after Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale partially gazetted the Institute's council, despite a High Court order requiring the full council to be appointed. Duale gazetted Judith Kobe, Dr. Patricia Mbogo, Sylvester Ndori and Abdullahi Adan as council members, but omitted nominated chairperson Professor Gordon Nguka and other elected members. The High Court had directed the CS to gazette the full council within 14 days after being served with the March 2026 judgment. Last week, Justice William Musyoka ordered Duale and Attorney General Dorcas Odwor to explain why they should not be held in contempt of court for failing to comply with the order. The case was filed by Oscar Kambona through lawyer Ombasa Musongo. The partial gazettement leaves the Institute's leadership dispute unresolved as contempt proceedings continue before the court. KNDI has been without a council since June 2025 following the expiry of the council. Kenyans have been urged to extend a helping hand to vulnerable members of society, especially now that most families are struggling with the rising cost of living. Archbishop Andreas Makarios of the Orthodox Church in Kenya has further urged Christians to lead by example and actively stand in the gap for those in the society who are struggling as a gesture of love. Makarios spoke during a charitable visit to the Kind Care Home in Kamango, Yambo County. Cynthia Koimburi, the CEO of Kind Care Network, lauded the initiative and called on Kenyans of goodwill to share and support vulnerable groups, noting meeting their needs is increasingly becoming difficult with the rising cost of living, denying them an opportunity to live a dignified life.
They have come to see one of our kid, Irene, and we are so much excited. She's celebrating her birthday today. As I normally say that disability is not inability. At Kind Care, we do support the abled differently children. We also are a rescue center whereby we rescue all vulnerable people.
Sacrifice ourselves for the others. In this way, when we see that those who are suffering, and by giving to them the chance to uplift their lives, and we see them that they are happy and they are rejoicing in their lives, it is a sign that it is our task, which is coming from above, to embrace and love all the creation, all the people, under any circumstances. This is how we are. And we should understand this, and we should give more of ourselves to the others.
A renewed call has been made to young people across the country to shun political violence and reject attempts by politicians to use them to advance personal interests. The appeal was made during a community celebration attended by ODM leaders in Kajiado County. Speaking at the event, Jomo Kenyatta Foundation Chairman John Ketora urged the youth to embrace peaceful and responsible political participation, warning that violence only results in loss of lives, destruction of property and suffering for ordinary Kenyans. He also called on political leaders to promote peaceful engagement and empower young people through meaningful opportunities instead of exposing them to violence during political activities.
And you have seen this case recently where one of my youth in Nairobi just died in a very mysterious way. So we want to discourage, to tell them that be careful even what you do, because life is precious. You can't joke with life. Once you lose it, it has gone. And the people that will be left hurt will be your family.
Mimi ninataka kuwarai viongozi wetu waache siasa za ukabila. Mambo ambayo tunaona yakiendelea, uchaguzi ambao tumeona kule Olkalau, sisi tunapenda kusema kwamba ulifanyika kwa njia ya amani, lakini ile njia ambayo imetumika kwa kufanya kampeni hizo, hasa na aliyekuwa makamu wa rais, ni siasa ambayo inaonyesha ukweli kabisa kuna ukabila.
Let's cross over to Vihiga County, where Vihiga County Governor Dr. Wilberforce Otichilo has officially launched the foundation stone for the 30 million shillings irrigation project in Hamisi sub-county aimed at boosting local food security and shifting farmers from subsistence to commercial agriculture. The governor at the same time challenged Vihiga residents to embrace smart farming to improve food security in the area. The governor said with the current climate change that has affected most parts of the world, modern farming is the only way to go to reduce the cost of living and put money in the pockets.
Kwenyaga kilimo ile sio kilimo ya kukula ya kuweka tu, kilimo ya kukuletea pesa kwa mfuko. Na watu wengi wanasema Vihiga mashamba ni kidogo. Na ndio tumesema lazima tuingie kwa maneno ya irrigation. Ile mito tuko nayo tuihifadhi na tutengeneze mabwawa ili maji ile tuwe natumia sasa kwa irrigation. Badala ya kugoja mvua tuwe na maji. Maji hizi inapita hapa kila siku. Ipo siku ambayo hii maji iliwacha. So sisi tunangoja ile ya juu na tunakaa na maji hapa.
To some politics now, where Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has cautioned politicians against using tribalism as a campaign strategy, saying ethnic politics cannot deliver a national electoral victory. At the same time, political drumbeats continue to reverberate across the political divide as politicians gear up for next year's polls. Our reporter Aaron Marie with the details.
Speaking in Eldoret during the launch of the Integrated Natural Resource Management Program, Mudavadi urged Kenyans to reject leaders who drive tribal agendas for political gain.
Tulikaa siku 42 kule Serena tukizungumza na Wakenya ili utulivu urudi katika Kenya hii. Utulivu ambao ulikuwa umefurugwa na ukabila.
He also defended the credibility of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, saying recent by-elections demonstrated the country's democratic maturity.
Kupitia kwa debe, hakuna njia nyingine kwa sababu katiba yetu inasema mfanye nini? Mpige kura kutoka elections. That is how it's going to be. And we have always held elections on schedule. So these elections shall be held on schedule. All I can encourage you is that kuna watu ambao wamechukua IDs lakini hawajaenda kuchukua kura. Unangoja nani?
Meanwhile, former Kisumu County Assembly Speaker Onyango Olo, who is eyeing the presidential seat, has kicked off his hunt for votes by reaching out to the electorate in Mount Kenya region.
Jamii ya Wajaluo na Wakikuyu wameungana mara kwa mara. Tumeona maendeleo, tumeona mafanikio. Tuliungana wakati wa kutafuta uhuru wa nchi hii yetu. Tulifaulu, hatukufaulu. Si uhuru ilikuja.
Speaking in Sagana during the commissioning of the Freedom and Opportunity Party's Central Region office, Olo appealed to the residents to support his presidential bid.
The ultimate objective is not just to get into government or to form a government. The ultimate objective for us as a party is to transform lives, to ensure that we bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, and that for once there be a party that will serve the common man and not one that will serve the leadership of the country.
And a section of Western Kenya leaders allied to the ruling party are calling on President William Ruto to allocate more national development projects to the region.
So mimi naambia Rais West, if you want proper investment, kuja Western, kuja Nyanza, Enda Coast, Rift Valley.
Led by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, The leaders argued that Western Kenya has remained loyal to the Kenya Kwanza administration and deserves a greater share of government investment.
Tumeungana, tunatembea pamoja. Sisi hatuna time na vijana ambao wanatusi watu.
Sisi watu wa Mniasi East tunaomba president alete maendeleo wapi? Hapa. Asipatie watu wenye hawataki maendeleo. Tunamwambia wachane na kuangalia kule, aangalie hapa Ingo.
And Chuka Igamba Ng'ombe MP Patrick Munene has downplayed the Olkalau win by DCP, saying it will not deter Mount Kenya East from working with the government.
Ukienda Nyeri, ukienda Mulanga, ukienda Kiambu, hakuna barabara haina lami, hakuna kijiji haina stima, hakuna mahali wajaweka maji. Wakati wa Kibaki sisi tulisimama na Kibaki.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Aaron Marie.
Let's now look at sports, where Gideon Kiprotich and Zena Yego emerged victorious in the men's and women's categories, respectively, during the second edition of Uzalendo Half Marathon held in Eldamarave, Baringo County, as hundreds of athletes and residents stand out to support charitable cause aimed at transforming the lives of vulnerable children through education. Kiprotich claimed the men's title after crossing the finish line in an impressive time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 59 seconds, beating competitive field of elites and upcoming athletes. In the women's race, Zena Yego produced a strong performance to secure victory in 1 hour, 15 minutes and 24 seconds beyond the competition. Now, the annual Uzalendo Half Marathon continues to serve a greater purpose by raising funds to educate children from disadvantaged families.
Sasa mshangilie mwanadada huyo anakuja hapo ni 009
Leo imekuwa ngumu, haikuwa rahisi. Tulipoanza tulipata flat at least kitu kama 5 kilometers. Then baada ya hapo ikaanza kukua mlima from 5 kilometers mpaka 20 kilometers.
Haikuwa mbaya vile. Iteni highlight juu, alafu hapa si baridi sana, iko moderate.
The last 13 years we've been able to educate now close to 400 children who are bright and needy through Uzalendo School.
And to the much-awaited FIFA World Cup tonight, Kylian Mbappe edged his name into football history after scoring twice in France's 6-4 defeat to England in the FIFA World Cup third-place playoff, becoming the tournament's all-time leading scorer. The French captain now has 22 World Cup goals across 3 tournaments, moving one clear of Argentina's Lionel Messi, who has 21 ahead of tonight's final against Spain. Mbappe's brace also took his tally to 10 goals at the 2026 World Cup, making him the first player this century to score double figures in a single edition of the tournament. The 27-year-old now leads the Golden Boot race and is on course to become the first player to win a award twice. Messi, however, still has one opportunity to respond when Argentina faces Spain in tonight's final. The Argentine captain would need to score twice to match Mbappe's goal tally and could still claim the Golden Boot by virtue of his superior number of assists. Don't miss this action live on KBC Channel 1.
What a goal. It's Mbappe again.
Well, that's where we end the bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time and your company. My name is Mary Yambo. On the sign language was Byron Abole. Do have a very good afternoon, and do not forget the action is live on KBC Channel 1 this evening, where Argentina will be facing Spain in the finals of the World Cup. Have a good afternoon and a blessed day.
Michuano ya kombe la dunia yanakaribia kilele na sasa ni kufa kupona. Farasi wawili wanaopatana ugani, ni mmoja tu ndiye atakayesalia, huku mwingine akifunganya virago na kuelekea nyumbani. Je, ni timu gani itakayotwaa ubingwa huu mnamo Julai 19 pale MetLife Stadium? Jibu hili utalipata hapa KBC Channel 1, tukikupeperushia matangazo ya FIFA World Cup moja kwa moja kutoka Mexico, Canada na USA.
Goal! They've done it!
Pia unaweza kupokea matangazo haya kupitia stesheni za redio za KBC. Istoshe, kwa wale wanaopenda kuona mechi kupitia big screens, KBC itawatembelea mtaani kwenu. World Cup iko KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
They were the favorites to go through to reach the finals, but it was not to be, as it seems that the die was cast.